Hey guys, in this video I just wanted to talk a little bit about naming conventions for variables. So if you can see from our previous video, our string variable was named u, and another one was named u2, and those are not good names for your variables. So let's start talking about what a good name is. Say you have a counter variable in Java, and it's gonna increment itself each time it sees something. So counter is usually represented by an integer. So instead of int u for the counter, we could say int counter is equal to 0. And if we wanted to be more specific, we could. If we wanted to count all the even numbers, we could say int even counter. And that's very beneficial because it not only helps you to memorize what the variable is, but as you go on to more professional life, it'll also help other programmers understand what you intend to do with that variable. So even counter. And if you had a string representing a name, you wouldn't say string x is equal to en. You would say string my name is equal to en. As you can see, we have this red line here. That's because I already created a variable named my name, even though it's a different data type. So we'll have to mark that out. So that's that. And so let's talk about two different types of naming conventions. The first is called camel case, and that's what I've been doing a lot of the time. It's when you start your first word with a lowercase letter, and then for each subsequent word, you started off with a uppercase letter. For example, this. As you can see, we started camel with lowercase, and then for each word after that, we started off with a uppercase letter. So this is how you would continue it in camel case. Now there's also another naming convention that some programmers like, and that's using the underscore. So up here, instead of saying even counter like that, we would say even counter, or we'd say my name. So I personally prefer to use camel case, but if you want to, you can use this underscore technique and it will be the same effect. But that's all what you prefer. Now there's also some rules for your variable names. And so let's start talking about some of those. So your variable name must begin with a letter or an underscore. It cannot start off with a numeral. So I can't say int 7u is equal to 6. As you can see, we have a red underline here. That's because the variable started with 7. However, anywhere else in the variable name, a number is allowed. For example, right there. The variable is allowed to have a number in it as long as it's not the first letter in the variable. You can also say u7. So any other punctuation character is not allowed. So be sure to watch out for that. You can either start off with a letter or an underscore. Either way works. Also, if you can see, these variable names are getting underlined in a yellow color. And that's just because if you hover your mouse over them, you can see that it's just because the value of the variable isn't used. So if you go back to one of our first videos about printing to the console, to get rid of that underline, you can use the variable. So now the underscore u variable is being used somewhere in this statement. So it's not underlined in that yellow anymore. But other than that, your variable name cannot be a keyword in Java. For example, you can't say string public is equal to u. Because if you can see above, public right here is a keyword recognized by Java. Public's right here and it's right here. So any keywords in Java cannot be used. You shouldn't really have problems with that, but if you do, just know that it might be because it's a keyword. And this is also case sensitive, so you can't have your variable named like this. But if they're all lowercase, like public, then it becomes a Java keyword and it causes an error. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned some more about Java variable naming conventions, and I hope to see you next time.